Alright, so I'm back on the passenger side of the vehicle. I've got to get the outer tie rod off in order to get the inner tie rod off. And if you remember from earlier, actually from last weekend, I was having issues. This thing, the outer tie rod, would not come off of the inner tie rod. So I've got a solution for that. I'm just going to cut it off and then I'll be able to back it off. So here we go. When you're doing this, be careful. I just did a quick survey. You know, you got your brake line here, and then you've got your ABS sensor back here. Just be careful where you're cutting if you have to do this. Obviously, you don't want to cut your brake line. Let's see how this goes. There. All right. Well, that was about as easy as it could be to remove that tie rod. So now I've got the bolt loose there. This guy just comes out, and again, you know, this thing was this is shot. I'm replacing this as well as the inner tie rod. That thing just turns super easy. So I've got to get the boot off. I've got to get the front clamp, the back clamp off, and then put the inner tie rod removal tool on there, just like I did on the driver's side. Alright, so I'm pretty excited here. The passenger side inner tie rod finally came off. It took a lot of persuading. I think I hit on it with a hammer, with the impact gun, gosh, for probably 4 minutes or so, 4 or 5 minutes on and off. I mean, my compressor had to recharge. I was using up so much air. That wasn't working. So what we wound up doing was getting the oxyacetylene torch out, heating it up, not to cherry red, but just hot enough, probably 700 degrees or so. And I've got it sitting over here in the water, and it's already cooled off now, but I had to just heat the whole outside of this off and then hit it again with the impact gun, and it finally came off. And I don't know if you can see, but inside or on the end there still looks like some remnants of blue thread locker. So there was a lot of thread locker still on this thing, and it took heat and a lot of impact gun time to get it off. So that's off, that's done. Now it's time to just put the new ones back on and get everything lined up. Alright, so I got back from the test drive, and what I've done is set my car up just to check the alignment, just the toe alignment, not the camber or caster. But what I did, and this was from a couple videos I saw on YouTube, so you just take a string, wrap it all the way around your car. I mean, you could tape it to the back of your wheel, but I just took a string all the way inside, tied it to a jack stand, came all the way back, right across the center of the car, came around the other side, again right across the center of the tire, and then all the way up again across the center of the tire, and then just tied it to another jack stand. And you can adjust the jack stand up and down, you know, so it gets lined up. But I was very surprised to see, and I don't know how well this is going to show on the video, but the gap between the front, well, I'm sorry, the back and the front here is very small. So I mean, the idea is, you know, for your toe, you want the tire to be perfectly straight and parallel to the rear tire. So from just my unscientific check, you know, and here's the passenger side. So this one is, I mean, it's almost touching the little knobs on the tires there. And also on the front, same thing. So this one appears to be pretty parallel to the back. Now, what I did notice was, you know, when I look down the sides, it kind of seems to me that the camber of the tire, and it's maybe hard to tell on video, but the top of the tire looks like it's leaning in some, actually on both sides. And that may just be an optical illusion or something, but you know, it appears to me that both tires are leaning in on the top. So anyway, I've got to lock down my tie rod lock nuts. I didn't do that. I tightened them down just a little bit, but I knew I was gonna you know, try this alignment setup with anticipating having to adjust those tie rods. But from what I'm seeing, you know, with the string method here, everything seems to be good enough, you know, at least to get it to the alignment shop. So I'm not going to mess with anything. I'm going to leave it as it is, make an appointment early next week for the alignment, and get everything back in running order. So again, sorry I didn't have a chance to show you adjusting the tie rods, you know, to adjust your alignment. But again, this method here with the strings was kind of what I wanted to show you. And then again, to my surprise, both tires appear to be relatively parallel to the rears, both fronts parallel to the rears, so I'm happy with that. And that's about it. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Again, you know, getting those tie rods, the inner tie rods off, were a lot more difficult than I anticipated. You know, definitely check out your auto parts store to rent that inner tie rod removal tool. If you don't have a torch, I would suggest thinking about getting one, or you know, find a buddy who has one. Maybe even just a map gas torch would do the trick. But that's all I've got for today. I hope all these videos have been helpful to you, and good luck changing your tie rods. Y'all have a great afternoon, and we'll see you soon.